Hello everyone and welcome back to the United Talk. I'm Akshay Sinha and this is your latest Manchester United news. But right now we're not going to talk about the Manchester United news. We're more going to talk about the disastrous season that we had, Ruben Amorim, and what this rebuild is all about. And most importantly, our captain Bruno Fernandes. There has been so many frustrating news floating around Manchester United that Bruno Fernandes, we should ship him off because he's already crossed 30 and we can get around 150 160 million, and that too is a very good offer. Even if we sell him for more than 100 million, we can use that money to sign another player or another positions. And I think that's the most irritating and the most preposterous news that I've heard, because this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. Before we talk about Ruben Amorim, I really want to talk about Bruno Fernandes, because he's been at the club for past 5 years and he has been the most loyal servant since Sir Alex Ferguson left. I don't think I've seen any other player fight for the badge like Bruno Fernandes has done for the past 5 years. No matter what Gary Neville, Roy Keane, no matter what they say about this player, I love this man to death. I think he's the best captain that we had since maybe Rooney. I think he was a phenomenal captain because he used to fight for the badge. Every captain before Rooney also was ready to die for the badge, was ready to fight for the club. And since Rooney left, every single captain was like shit. Especially Harry Maguire. I think Harry Maguire is a good centre back. He could be my second choice of centre back. But right now, as a leader, he's pathetic. We signed him because he was an obvious choice of leader under Oli. But he was pathetic as a captain. He had no leadership in his own defensive area. How could you expect him to lead a proper football side? That to Manchester United in English Premier League. That was pathetic decision by Oli, but I still love the guy as a centre back. But right now, let's just talk about Bruno Fernandes. This guy has been by far the best player of Manchester United, and he has proven that again and again. Every time when Man United is in a rut, every time in the match when Man United is in a rut, he's the one who delivers. Either he scores, either he assists, or either he creates some amazing passes. Because of him, just imagine we are at 16th, right? We ended the season at 16. Just imagine if we hadn't had Bruno Fernandes in our team. I'm telling you, Manchester United would have been relegated, because he was the top scorer. He and Ahmad are top scorer at this pathetic side. And don't forget, none of the player. Any other player than Bruno Fernandes in the midfield. I'm not just talking about Manchester United. In the midfield, none of the player from the Premier League side could compete with his statistics. If you don't want to talk about his heart, his passion, his loyalty and love for United, just look at the statistics. For past 5 years since he arrived in Premier League, he has been a better midfielder than Kevin De Bruyne. In terms of statistics, I'm not talking about the style of play. I'm not talking about the chances of goals he created. Maybe Kevin De Bruyne is a legend of Man City, but I don't give a fuck about the lad. I care about my captain, and I love him. He has been the best player. I love Bruno Fernandes, not just because he is a captain, but because he's a phenomenal player. He hasn't had any injury. He is the most consistent player, and every time when Manchester United is in a rut, he delivers. He somehow creates a magician, and there's a reason we call him Magnifico, because he has been magnificent in the last 5 years. And still, in our fan base, they are a little bit divisive over this statement that we need to ship him off. If you're gonna ship him off, you're gonna be a little more less in terms of talent-wise. You're gonna be a little lesser than Arsenal. Forget about Arsenal, Liverpool, and Man City. Man City, you're gonna be more or less maybe beneath the Southampton, or Southampton just got relegated, so not Southampton, but definitely Fulham or any other team. And we still are. We still are at 16th. Multiple teams are ahead of us. Next season, it's so disturbing that we won't be in any of the European championships. But still, I wouldn't ship him off for anyone else. I wouldn't. I would just completely reject the notion of selling Bruno Fernandes for some amount of money and then trying to buy some players who may or may not deliver for us. Don't forget the fact that it actually has a gambling situation, because if you're gonna ship Bruno Fernandes, who has been phenomenal for us, and then you're gonna sign another player or maybe couple of players who may or may not be good for us. So that's even as a business point of view, that's a very pathetic decision. And I'm with my manager. Because he loves Bruno Fernandes. He doesn't want to ship him off. He thinks he's the heart of the team, and he wants him to stay at United. And even I think Bruno Fernandes wants to stay at United. He himself said this in an interview. He doesn't care about the rumors or the offers coming from other clubs. He loves United. He want to play for us for the rest of his life. But if United tells him to leave, then he will respect the decision. So that means if United neglects everything that is floating around Man United and rejects every offer, he doesn't have a problem with that. He still loves Man United and he's gonna play for that badge. I'm telling you, he's a proper loyal servant of Manchester United, and we all should respect him. Some people may not agree with me, but you can't disagree with the fact that he has been poor, or he's not phenomenal, or he's overrated, or there are far better players for Manchester United in the midfield. Then you're just kidding yourself. You may as well just go to Italy, watch Napoli, and suck Scott McTominay's dick. Because seriously, if you're gonna imagine that we sitting here, I'm gonna reframe my last sentence. Forget about Italian football and sucking Scott McTominay's dick. If you're thinking that you need to sell Bruno Fernandes for some cash, go and suck Roy Keane's dick, because he's desperate to wiggle his off. But right now, I'm just gonna move on and talk about Ruben Amorim. And man, I love the guy. I simply love the guy. In the last game, even when Bruno Fernandes said the reason we played that quickly and that aggressively, because there was no pressure. So it's quite clear when you're playing for Man United, there's a lot of pressure when you're playing to representing this badge. I'm not saying that's an excuse. Because if you have to live up to it, Real Madrid, Liverpool, Man City, everyone who plays for their own football club, they are representing the club, they are under pressure, and they deliver. So I'm not saying that's an excuse, but yes, in the last game, Manchester United were far much better than, like, I think I haven't seen that kind of performance in the last 5 or 6 months. So that was really positive. And second thing that I want to say, when I saw Ruben Amorim holding the mic and saying those beautiful words that if any club that can overcome anything disastrous like the season we had and still can overcome and be champions again or at the top of the football world, it's this club. It's our club. I love when he said our club. I love when he didn't mention Manchester United or the club or this club. He mentioned our club, and that is why I'm telling you, people may or may not agree with me, but this is the best manager, and this guy is the best hope for us to rebuild this club into something that Sir Alex Ferguson or every one of us can be proud of. Trust me when I'm saying this. I mean, people are talking about, there are people who are pro Ruben Amorim, there are some people who are not very big fan of him, and any of the fans from a fan base who are actually pro about Ruben Amorim, and they are like mentioning the fact that when he first came to Sporting, in his very first summer, he made a sale of 25 players. He shipped 25 players from Sporting, and I think that's a commendable job. But I think that's very difficult to replicate that at United, because don't forget, Sporting is a fan based club. Sporting is a fan based club. Manchester United is a Glazers based club. We are owned by Glazers. We are not owned by fans. I wish we were owned by fans. Imagine the kind of signings we would have made, because we still would have been the most profitable club. If Man United was a fan base, a fan owned club, we would have been most profitable club. We would have had the best signing, and we probably would have been champions. But right now, let's just talk about the Glazers. Glazers are not that eager for us to do well on the pitch by spending money. They are a bunch of prats, and they are a bunch of assholes who loves just sitting on their coziest chairs and just masturbating with their own fucking thoughts about having a bath with the dividends. They doesn't care. They really don't care about footballing side of Manchester United. And when Jim Ratcliffe bought us the footballing side of Man United for 25%, he got broke. He got simply. I said this before. I'm saying this again. He is so helpless, like Raw. If during a match he just if he just pooped in his pants, he would sit there. He would sit there in his own puddle of goo and he wouldn't do shit. Max he could do is ask Joel Glazer to wipe his ass. That's it. He can't do anything about it. He doesn't have money. He's broke. And that is the problem at United. We are so much in debt. We are still in debt. I read somewhere that after the loss of Europa League final, he's gonna cut jobs of another 200 employees. And I was baffled by it. I mean, just look at the guy. He's still trying to reduce the staff. He still doesn't paying anything. He was preparing a barbecue, invite only barbecue, if we could have won the Europa League, and still he doesn't know how the club works. He doesn't understand how this thing works and how we can make it profitable. He just doesn't understand this. In an interview with Gary Neville, he himself just I was stunned that nobody suggested me that we can have dinner, we can have a charity fund dinner and raise some funds for United by inviting some of the people and have dinner with the team. And he said nobody suggested me that. Well, asshole, Gary Neville suggested you that in his own interview, and you said, "Oh my God, nobody suggested me that," and it's been 3 months and you still haven't done that. So that fucking moron is clueless. And he's not gonna take up any of the notions, any of the idea that are coming on the internet, because he has his nose, his face, and his ears so up Joel Glazer's ass that he doesn't hear one single word that we utter. And that's the problem of it. That is why Manchester United are really in a terrifying situation right now, because we don't know what's gonna happen next. We just have confirmed news from Fabrizio Romano that we have signed Matthias Cunha, and there are rumors that we are gonna sign another Mbuemo or maybe Liam Delap, and we have that transfer news. We've already covered the transfer news in another video on my channel. Please, if you have not seen that, please go and take a look at it. But right now, let's just talk about Ruben Amorim. Ruben Amorim is so helpless right now, because if he's gonna say that I need Gyökeres, Manchester United would be like, he's 65 million, we don't have funds for that. If Ruben Amorim tells him that I can convince Sporting and Gyökeres to come and play for me, and I can convince Sporting that we can pay them in installments, and Manchester United would be like, James Wilcock would be like, but I love Liam Delap. Liam Delap is like my own son. I may have fucked his mother, I don't remember, and I really want that. So that's the problem, because James Wilcock was at Man City. He was at Man City's youth setup, and Liam Delap is from Man City youth setup. He has a brilliant relationship, a very good relationship with James Wilcox, and he somehow knows his family. And if that happens, and that is why in every article there is a proper rumor, there's a proper mention of James Wilcox, the technical director for Manchester United Football Club, that he's in love with Liam Delap. He's been busy with this deal for so long, for more than a couple of months, and he has been all over it. He loves Liam Delap. He wants him to play for Manchester United because he's cheap. He's 22 years old. He's coming from Ipswich. He doesn't have that kind of prolific track record. And most importantly, he's an English striker. And that's what this is about. The obsession of signing Manchester United, signing English-born players. I really don't understand that. I mean, just think about this. Since Wayne Rooney, the English players that we have, that have come from youth setup. Rooney was from Everton, I'm sorry. But all the players that have come up from our youth setup, Lingard, pathetic, Rashford, faded, Garnacho, He's actually feeling himself over entitled, and that is why he's leaving club this coming window. I mean, just think about this. The prolific wingers or the forwards or the flair players are not good enough for Man United. They are just not good enough, and I'm really happy that Ruben Amorim is shipping them off. I love Garnacho. I never wanted Garnacho to leave Man United. I thought he was going to be the next Ronaldo for me. But again, if you are feeling so entitled that you need to play every single match, and then you can come online and go do an interview that you were disappointed that you didn't play in the final because the manager didn't think so. You can't blame the manager. Shut the fuck up. You don't need to say that out loud. It was manager's decision. It was still his decision. And if you're not playing for the manager, respect that. And if a player, just look at what Sir Alex Ferguson did with Beckham. If a player thinks that he's big enough, more than big enough for the club, he needs to go, he needs to leave. If I would have been in the shoes of Ruben Amorim, I would have kicked the shoe at Garnacho at the press conference and just tell him to shove off. Go follow in the footsteps of Sancho, Rashford. I don't give a fuck about you anymore. There are no sentiments. There are no compromises. If you are not playing for the batch, if you are not listening to the gaffer, if you are not happy with the manager situation, then just fuck off. Fuck off from my club because you are not that of a great player. Yes, you have tried very hard. Yes, you have been playing very good. And yes, we need you. But that doesn't mean we're not going to survive without you. You need to leave the club. For fuck's sake. You are there are times when you're just selfish 20-year-old lad who doesn't know how to deal with the fame. You're just that kind of a player. And if you can't handle that, you can't handle criticism, you can't handle some games when you're not the star of the team, you need to ship off and you need to just shove up your ass to any other managers. Just, keep your nose brown and then just leave the fuck my club out. I really don't want you here. And like I said, when Ruben Amorim came to Sporting, he ended the 19-year-old drought of Sporting by winning their league. I know it's very easy in terms of in comparison to the Premier League, but let's just give a man a break. Let's just give him some time. Give him at least one more year, because this wasn't his year. He did not receive funds in January window. He still got stuck with the players that Ten Hag bought, and none of the players that were signed by Ten Hag were good enough for us. We know this very clearly because when Ugarte was signed, when Harry Maguire was signed for us under Oli, Ugarte, and even Onana, we were extremely appalled by it. I was actually frustrated when I saw Ruben Amorim when we let David De Gea, fucking a goalkeeper who could save the Titanic. We let him go for free. He took a year off from football, celebrated his life, spent time with his family, with his girlfriend, with his kids, and then he came back. He signed for Fiorentina, and he was their player of the year. Just think about the mentality of that goalkeeper. And we signed Onana, the shithead, who's actually, in my own words, he's actually a blind dog guarding our house, because he can't do anything about it. And that's the problem with the Manchester United right now, and that's the problem that's Ruben Amorim is gonna face this summer window, because no matter he's not gonna ship off 25 players from Man United, even if he wants to. He won't be able to ship off 10 players if he wants to, because it's gonna be really a lot of paperwork, a lot of money from Man United, and Glazers, Jim Ratcliffe are not that competent. And that's the problem. They are not that competent. You can just forget about the shipping of 10 players. It would actually behoove if they it would be really interesting if the management, if Joel Glazer, or not the Joel Glazer, but Jim Ratcliffe could listen to what Ruben Amorim is actually talking about, the kind of player he's actually talking about. You can't just trust James Wilcock because he's the technical director. There has to be a level ground, because if levels there has to be some level, there has to be an agreement between Ruben Amorim and James Wilcox. If Ruben Amorim needs a proper striker, you need to give him a proper striker, not just another developmental striker who may or may not live up to his potential. And then you can't expect Ruben Amorim to receive the axe for it, because that's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen. That's what happens to the managers of Man United, because they don't get their first choices, and when they don't win the league, when they don't perform very good on the pitch, they get the axe. Not the owner, not the management, not the technical director, but the manager. And I don't want that to happen with Ruben Amorim. I'm really frustrated with that. I really don't want that. But again, if someone who's watching this video, if someone who's from a fan base, the only request that I'm going to make to you as a Mancunian, to other people who are from this fan base, I just want you to believe in Ruben Amorim. Just give him another year, and trust me, this man will definitely put us back at the top, will put us back as the champions, and everything that people are trolling him, everything that people are saying that about him, it's gonna be washed off. Trust me when I'm saying this. And with that thought, I'm gonna leave you. Thank you guys for watching the show. If you're still there, please subscribe to the channel. If you're new to this, share it with your friends and other Manchester United fans. Like it, and don't forget, glory, glory, Man United. Bye bye, guys.